So in this video, I'm going to show you how you could put together a quality AI image generator simply by using Cursor and the Ideogram API. Now, to provide some context, typically when I'm looking to generate AI images or generated images, I may go to a site like Ideogram, type in what I want to see, what I want to generate, or I may use a tool like Midjourney, or I'll search for another text to image tool or software on the market. And I find myself spending money on all these different types of fees, whereby I was asking myself, what if I just created my own AI image generating tool? And rather than paying a subscription or multiple subscriptions, I just start paying by the usage because it'll be my own tool. And so I went to look and I saw that Ideogram has an API. It's in beta, but you can use this API, leverage it for your own tool, and start generating images that way. And so I created this AI image generation software, which I have it titled OneTro 2. I've been playing around with this name for some time now, and you can prompt with it and it leverages that ideogram API. So we're going to go ahead and build this out. We'll start by opening up Cursor. And in this case, we're going to be solely using Cursor to create this tool. We're going to open up a folder and create a new folder. Let's title this AI image generator. I'm just going to say demo. We're going to open up this new folder, and then we're going to click or press Command I, which will open up the Cursor composer where you can now prompt for the code that you want to generate. So we're going to be using the agent feature, which will actually help you in the process of installing commands. And if you haven't checked out previous videos that I've done on Cursor, you can take a look to see how to set up Cursor, how to also integrate it with tools like Replit, and some of the other kinds of build outs that I've done using Cursor. So in this case, I have a prompt I already put together where I say I'd like to create a text to image app with a sexy interface, but one where I'll be adding new AI features over time. So I'll start with text to image, then I'll add in chat, then video, then AI avatars. So the idea of this is that I'll be able to have this one software where as time goes on, I'll be adding new features to it by integrating various APIs. And I could also use it as a testing ground for new tools and new APIs that get released as time goes on. And so this will be just for image, but kind of creating it in a way where there's opportunity to also build out other kinds of features in it. And so that's why I put the prompt this way. And in addition to this, what I want to do is, because I'm going to be using the Ideogram API. So if you go on Ideogram, you can see that they have an API that they'll give you access to. You have to create an API key. So if you go to Ideogram AI/manage-API, you can create an API key with a developer's account, and then you'll be able to find the API documentation. So you're going to drag the API documentation, you're going to copy the full documentation from top to bottom, and then you're going to take this to ChatGPT. Now, GPT-01 is exceptionally good at laying out guidelines and giving you the proper documentation, especially when it comes to building software. So I'm going to actually paste in that API documentation to GPT-01. And then I'm just going to say in the beginning of it, I'm building a text to image integration where I want a tool that renders 3 images after clicking generate. Help me structure the API documentation in a way that when I plug it into Cursor, which is the tool I'll be using to create this, it'll pull from the correct API endpoints. So I'm going to let O1 do its thing and sort of restructure the documentation, just lay it out in a way where I can now take this and post it in Cursor along with that initial prompt that I have for to begin running this process. So it's giving me what I need here. Here is the API documentation. And then before I even add that, I'm going to copy and paste in the API, the Ideogram API key, which I'm not going to show you what mine looks like. Just you want to always make sure you keep your API key safe. So I'm going to paste this in, click submit, and then we'll continue from there. All right, so I've pasted in the API key along with the documentation and the initial prompt. And now Cursor is beginning to run. And basically what I do is, as it starts running commands and it starts generating the code, I submit, click continue, and then any sort of adjustments that have to get made or any bugs that even come up, there are areas where I may need to manually go in and make an adjustment, and I just use the context that's given to me in order to work through those challenges. So saying here, could not create a project called AI image generation. Name could only contain URL friendly characters. So it'll make the adjustment for that. So I'm going to click pop out terminal. Just so the project's been created, preparing necessary files, run command, it's installing packages, it is okay to proceed, creating the core files, creating the main page. And so it'll backstep, it'll delete certain files if it goes about it the wrong way. I gave the full API documentation. I'm not sure what else I would give. What I will say is that, like, if I was giving 4. If I started with just the API documentation, it would probably have worked more immediately rather than going through GPT-01. All right, looks like we're getting something. Oh, there we go. It's obviously not Meek Mill, but we've got the images generating now. I'm not sure what this issue is here. Extra attributes. So it looks like we probably have too much that is in the code. It's also saying download the React Dev tool. So this is something that could be taken further at this point. But let's go ahead and say something different. For those of you who are in the U.S., I know you may have seen Donald Trump sitting next to Barack Obama during Jimmy Carter's funeral. So let's say Donald Trump and Barack Obama having a conversation. See, so this is using the Ideogram API. It took us some time to get to the finish line, but we have made it. To take it beyond here, you can continue to refine it, work through the issues. Something that's really great is if you were to take your code base and put it through Gemini, Google Gemini, for instance. It's really good at auditing code. You could push this to GitHub to actually save the files as well. You can deploy this on platforms like Vercel or Replit, and this is where we've come to. And so, to provide some color around this, one area to really think through is that initial documentation. Typically, when you put documentation in general or ask for documentation to get created within ChatGPT-01, it gives you really good results. In this case, it seems like it tampered with the actual API documentation. And so we probably would have gotten the outcome we're looking for faster had we just put the API documentation straight into Cursor. Or if we created a file within Cursor, you can actually create documents. So you can add docs and then actually create a documentation. So for example, I could go onto Ideogram and just take the URL, and it'll actually index that URL. Just take the URL, input it, and then you can title it Ideogram API documentation. So this actually would have been probably the better route to go, and to then add that in with your prompts. And so, yeah, this is the AI image generator. I'm going to continue doing these videos, showing the pros and cons to using these AI tech tools. I believe that when Grok 3, which is getting released soon, and OpenAI o3, ChatGPT o3, when those get released, and as these large language models just continue to improve, it'll get even easier and easier to code with these large language models. You start to pick up things along the way, but it's not perfect. However, you can build what you're looking to with these tools, and this demo shows how that's the case. So let me know what you thought. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos that are a little bit more raw, and if you want to see more examples of this. But until next time, here is the AI image generator using Cursor and the Ideogram API.